Previously on Back of the Backlog.
Is Carlo coming to Christmas?
No. Admittedly, no. I think you guys could tell there's someone missing.
Drucker?
Ever since he signed that contract, he's just been odd, quiet.
What are you gonna do?
I'll talk to him as soon as possible.
Still haven't opened up the gift from us.
You know why I brought you here today, man?
No, I actually don't. Why?
Me and the crew noticed that you've been acting different for a few months now. You think about it, you don't talk much, we get real mad at some of our co-hosts, and that's something to talk about.
Huh. Okay.
You know what I'm talking about. The fact that you just snapped at Finn for no goddamn reason. The fact that you've been quiet in every single discussion, even though that's what you get paid to do. That's what you're here for. It's not that difficult to be here. You come, you play a game, you either like it or you don't, and you talk about it with us. Now, you have to be on camera and you have to do things. If that's not for you, I don't know why you signed up for this.
Oh, I mean, this is definitely for me.
I'm not too sure I believe that. I trusted Finn and Niffler. We took you in. They liked you. Even if it was because you kind of bribed them with rare replay. But I have confidence that you could add to the group. You just gotta show it. You gotta show that you actually care.
I do care.
If you truly do care, then what the hell's going on? You never even apologized to Finn. It's been months now. Months. And you haven't said, I'm sorry, to just going crazy on him for no reason. If you care, I feel like that's somewhere to start.
I haven't been myself for a reason. I found out that my friend, he died.
Oh. I'm sorry to hear that, man. You should have told us something.
Well, you never asked why.
Yeah, I guess you're right. And I never asked why. I truly am sorry to hear that.
Well, thanks.
Even though that happened, though, you shouldn't spread negativity to the world for months. What you did to Finn, he didn't deserve that. You should probably apologize.
I suppose I will apologize.
Cool. I'm sure he'll appreciate that. Tell us next time, though. For real. Please. Let's get back into the groove of things, Let's talk some games.
For sure.
Alright, well, I'll see you later. Get to recording that Metro episode.
On backlog. Been gone for way too long. On backlog. Got so many games to play, dog. On backlog. Don't be called expands my dog. On backlog. Me and Carlo been fucking since dawn. On backlog. Did you know, Carlo wears thongs? On backlog. I really fucking hate this song. Yeah.
What is up, guys? It is Robert of Gaming with me, and welcome to the 20th episode of Back at the Backlog, the series where we take a look at the games that I recently beat off my backlog. Today's episode is on the game Metro 2033 Redux on the Metro Redux package. My history with the Metro franchise goes back to the year 2014 when Metro Redux came out. This is a collection of both Metro 2033 and Metro Last Light, both remastered for the PlayStation 4, Xbox One, and PC, and later on was actually even brought to the Nintendo Switch. I didn't know too much about Metro. I saw the setting, I saw like 30 seconds of a trailer, and 15-year-old me was in. I thought it was maybe like Call of Duty, but in a post-apocalypse setting. But then I booted up Metro 2033 and I saw monsters. Boy, was I surprised. Yes, the Metro franchise was not what I was expecting, but if anything, it's better. So much better that I didn't even finish the game until 7 years later. And if we're talking about the original release, 11 years later, since it actually originally released in 2010. That's not to say I'd never finished a Metro game before. In fact, I actually picked up Metro Exodus when it launched back in 2019, fully played it and beat it, and enjoyed it so much to the point that I actually put it on my 8th spot of my top 10 favorite games of 2019. It's a fantastic game and I totally recommend it. However, Metro Exodus is very different in terms of structure compared to Metro 2033. Metro 2033 Redux was released on August 26, 2014. It was developed by 4A Games and published by Deep Silver. I may have enjoyed Metro Exodus a lot, but how's the one that started it all? Well, let's talk about it. Let's talk about the story first. Metro 2033 is actually based on a book by Dmitry Glukhovsky. I hope I said his name right. The game takes place in Russia. Apparently in the year 2013, there was a nuclear war wiping out billions of people. The survivors started to live underground in the metro system because above ground was inhabitable, impossible to survive without a gas mask. Not only that, but animals have started to mutate into monsters. Later in the year 2033, these creatures called the Dark Ones start to become feared, and so the main character Artyom must save his home station from some monster invasion. There's a quick prologue that showcases what the journey ahead is going to look like. Run-down areas filled with mutated beasts. This is a small showcase before they take you to a metro station base 8 days earlier. Visually, this game is pretty good. While the character models are definitely dated, the overall world looks really solid. I always say that's an unfortunate thing about realism in games. Realistic looking character models end up always looking not so realistic the very next year after. Although in Metro 2033's case, it is a 2010 game remastered, not remade. First thing I noticed while going through this metro station were the people. The people around this metro station made it feel alive, like an actual community. It was quite impressive how many characters would be having full-blown conversations with each other that last a decent amount of time. Most people won't even hear many of these voice clips because they'll just be passing by to get to the next objective. This one conversation lasted for a minute with these three talking about Moscow. It's a great detail that further lets you get immersed in this metro community.
Will be gone too, and the monsters will inherit the earth.
But there were other subways in St. Petersburg, Minsk, and Kiev.
People might have survived somewhere else.
Metro 2033 does a great job with immersing the player into the world. The atmosphere is fantastic. Where there's comfort and a sort of hope in the Metro community, there's dread, intensity, and a depressing world in the outskirts. I think the world is incredibly interesting with everyone underground and creatures essentially ruling the lands. It's a linear game, and so the developers are able to show everything they want the player to see. On your journey, you'll be facing not only mutated creatures, but humans as well. The difference in tone and how you approach humans versus the mutated are drastic. Sections with enemy people are very much a straight up first person shooter. There was one situation where there were both humans and creatures you had to face, which dialed up the intensity for sure, but for the most part those two aspects are separate. The enemies you face are Nazis and communist soldiers. Yes, in the year 2033, all hope was so gone that a select group of people resorted to Hitler. Fucking hell, talk about a shit future! Well, there are two ways of tackling most encounters with these soldiers. You can slowly stealth around or have a huge shootout. Every scenario for me at least started with me being stealthy, slowly taking my time and would take out anyone in my path. I've been trained so much with games like The Last of Us or even Ghost of Tsushima that shows outlines of people behind walls and around corners. Metro 2033 doesn't do any of that, and because of that, it makes for a wildly different experience. In the beginning, it was pretty intense seeing anybody getting closer as I looked around for a route. I really enjoyed it. That was until I got caught. Once you're caught, shootouts happen immediately. During these moments, it just becomes an all-out action set piece with dozens of soldiers all aiming for you as you duck behind cover waiting for an opportunity to pop up and take some shots. This was also before I realized that for the most part, I didn't really have to do that. There are plenty of resources in this game, from the ammo to the med packs for your health. It's not enough to be running around because then for sure you die from getting shot at all angles, but they are generous enough with resources to where being stealthy means you are kinda just wasting time. That's not to say I was never low on ammo, but 9 times out of 10 there was a body nearby where I could get some ammo.
I always ran out of ammo.
For real? The hell were you doing?
I'm not good at first-person games, so I kept missing all my shots.
You'll eventually get the hang of it.
Well, it's a little too late now.
It's alright. That means next first person game you'll be all ready. Since this is the Redux version, I should bring up that I actually played the game on the survival setting, which apparently is the original feel of Metro 2033. There's another option called Spartan, which actually gives you even more ammo for some reason, but apparently that's more akin to the gameplay style of Metro Last Light. Even when it is just shooting set pieces, the gunplay and environments make it entertaining, and for me personally, I can enjoy just straight up corridor shooting set pieces. The soldier AI isn't anything different from your typical first person shooters. There can be some dumb moments like one guy just casually walking around when clearly a shootout is happening. It only happened once, but stuff like that can really stick out at you when the situation is chaotic. Facing the mutated creatures is a completely different atmosphere. These portions of the game become a horror shooter. Much of the game is Artyom alone, so every noise you hear is likely something out to get you. There's a nice variety of creatures you run into. Each creature you'll encounter are different in terms of abilities, and because of that, how you approach them is also different. There's the threatening hound-like monsters called Nozalis that travel in herds. Facing a whole group of them can result in a few medkits definitely being used, which isn't a good thing since there's no regenerating health. The amount of ammo it takes to take out a whole group can definitely be a decent amount. There's these flying creatures they call demons that if they spot you, will swoop down to you, grab you, and throw you from high in the sky. Obviously that's pretty bad and causes death if you aren't at full health. Unfortunately, one time I was dropped into a car and had to reload the checkpoint since I was literally glitched inside. Thanks, demon. If you're gonna kill me, kill me. Don't just leave me glitched, you fuck! When the demons work normally though, they are great. One sight of them in the sky absolutely makes you want to just get to the nearest hiding spot as soon as possible. There's also this huge creature called the Librarian. This huge gorilla-like creature is named that due to its species only being sighted around the Moscow State Library. The librarians are creatures you don't want to mess with. You shoot at them, you're dead. Only way to go around them is by keeping your eye on them at all times and keeping your distance. It won't attack you if you stare at it, but have your back turned or get too close and you might be dead. There's a lot more creatures and they are all designed really well visually and mechanically.
I want people to fear me like that. Turn your back on me, blam! Dead.
There's one thing I don't want to be compared to, it's a murderous creature.
It's no big deal. You know what they say, compare me to an animal and I'll be tied to you like camel toe.
What? What does that even mean? Who the hell says that?
Hey, I don't make the sayings, I just say it.
Well, if I were you, I'd never say that again, because that genuinely makes no sense. The world around you is just as dangerous as the enemies you face. With its toxic atmosphere, a gas mask is required to traverse many sections of the land. Since this is a first-person game, you are looking through a gas mask for a lot of the journey with essentially no HUD. It reminded me of Metroid Prime with Samus's visor. This allows you to be even more immersed into the world. Moisture, blood, and cracks can be seen. Over time, the gas mask will damage from the situations you've been through, so much so that you'll be changing masks multiple times whenever you find one in the world in better shape than yours. You'll also be changing filters for your mask, which you can run out of, and if you run out of filters, well, you are pretty screwed and you might just die. This happened to me once. Underground with a bunch of toxic air, but luckily found a whole supply of filters, which I'm guessing the game gave more than usual due to my low stock of it. Ammo, filter, and medkits can all be purchased at a station whenever you get to one. I had so many bullets, which is the currency there, that I would always stock up on supplies before I left for the next chapter. One area in the game has this on-rails section where you are on a turret escaping from enemies. It stood out to me because it's so much different from any other section of the game, but it's sadly not a good one, at least not the first half. It's a solid almost 20 minutes of what could have been some cool action to change up the pace, but for some reason the controls are just really poor. You could have just used the right analog stick to aim, but no, you just use both analog sticks and it ends up just being really awkward, especially considering it's only for a short period of time. Luckily, the second half ditches the turn in favor of your own weapon, which gladly means the normal controls. The second half is super short-lived though, it only lasts like 5 minutes, but it's a fun set piece on these train tracks and having to duck in areas and falling like it's a roller coaster. It would have been nice if it was like that for both on-rail sections. There's plenty of different scenarios that happen to always change up the pace, like finding this kid and taking him back to his mother while carrying him on your back. It's cool because your camera controls actually become loose and more floaty, as if someone is on your back and you can't fully move normally. It's things like that where you could tell they are paying attention to the smaller details. The game just has a really nice pacing. It lets you breathe when you reach different stations. Each metro station is similar for the most part, but one station is much more different than the others. That station is Polis, with its beautiful architecture and clean hospitals. It's a true underground city. It's a station even Artyom has always dreamed about seeing with his own eyes. You read about these thoughts Artyom has throughout the journey through his journal. There are hidden pages from his journal in every chapter that you can collect and read. I wasn't going out of my way to find these notes, but I collected a decent amount. These notes add to the character of Artyom and understand what's going through his mind in these scenarios because unfortunately, Artyom is a silent protagonist. I do not mind silent protagonists at all, but it just doesn't work with Artyom. Before each new section of a chapter, Artyom literally narrates the words on the screen. So why can't that voice actor just, voice him? There are just some awkward moments that occur due to this. For example, someone may ask Artyom a question and a few seconds later they'll just say, "Staying silent on me, huh?" Or at another point, a question is asked to Artyom and someone else answers for him. Even the person that asked the question asks, can he not speak for himself? I guess he can't. How do you feel about that, Drucker?
It's cool.
So you actually like that he's silent?
Yeah, I guess.
Alright, cool. Glad you do, I suppose. As for glitches, there are occasional times where character animations are just a bit janky, like this guy's foot, like fucking hell, I think you just broke your goddamn foot! Or like how this guy seems a little too bit surprised to see me, like relax with those eyes, you were stretching them too far! Other than those animation quirks and that demon dropping me into a car, it was a smooth experience. I'm now going to talk about the final chapter just to let you know. The final chapter is called Tower. In this chapter, Artyom climbs the giant radio tower to fire off missiles and destroy where the Dark Ones live. It's a pretty short but action-packed ending chapter with creatures to take out and environments to climb. I enjoyed the scaling of the tower, carefully going through this rundown area, although it's a bit too press square to do something, which is odd because none of that was in the prior chapters. Now, once Artyom gets to the top of the tower, he starts having visions of the Dark Ones. Now, throughout the journey, there are a few points where Artyom starts to have these otherworldly visions. Apparently, these Dark Ones can go into Artyom's mind, essentially, and show him things they want him to see. Earlier in the game, he's shown visions of children happily playing in a playground. It's imagery that is nice, welcoming, peaceful. Voices could be heard saying,
He can stop death.
Well, these final visions aren't very nice. All Artyom can do is run away from these Dark Ones who say,
He cannot be allowed. He's coming to destroy us. Stop him. Destroy him.
running and jumping in these large tunnels in a white void, avoiding any Dark One contact, until his vision hands him a gun and shoots down the Dark One from getting closer. One bullet at a time until Artyom's mind is free. Missiles are shot in the air, destroying the Dark Ones. The Metro is saved. Artyom eliminates the Dark One's threat, and perhaps the human race could start working towards a more hopeful goal. That is, if the Dark Ones were actually even bad to begin with. There are two endings in Metro 2033. I apparently got the bad ending, which also happens to be the canon ending that continues into Metro Last Light. But there is actually an ending to spare the Dark Ones' lives. That is considered the good ending, as the Dark Ones want peace, and showing visions to Artyom like the kids peacefully playing was their way of showing it. The Dark Ones want to work with the humans to help civilization become normal again. I'm not quite sure how to get this ending because it sounds like no one is quite sure from researching it. It's just a bunch of vague steps you have to take while playing the game. In the ending I got, Artyom sits down, seeing the world being scorched in flames once again, and contemplates on his decision, asking himself,
When we burned the Dark Ones from the face of the earth, was something lost as well?
it's an okay ending, but the impact isn't quite there for me because the Dark Ones are talked about so little in this game that I couldn't quite care either way what happened. Humans wanted to kill something that they don't understand. This is something that probably would not help them in the long run. Not only is it bad to just wipe out a whole race without knowing them, if anything, it probably will hurt them. But I do appreciate the fact that Artyom immediately starts to question if what he did was wrong. And after that, the credits roll. That was Metro 2033 Redux. It's a really good game that manages to juggle multiple tones and gameplay genres quite well. With its fantastic atmosphere and world design, it's a game I definitely recommend. Overall, I'm going to give Metro 2033 Redux a really good game with some awesome concepts, creatures, and cars to get stuck in. Right, Artyom? Artyom! Artyom, speak! Speak, damn it! No! No, 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 no! Don't kill the Dark Ones! Oh no! Fuck! Out of 10. This game truly felt like an adventure. I do prefer Metro Exodus probably, I'd have to replay it one day, but Metro 2033 does lay the groundwork for a hopefully awesome trilogy of games. I'm very much looking forward to playing Metro Last Light and seeing what's ahead in my Wasteland journey, although I'm a bit worried that Last Light won't have as many horror elements to it. The horror sections really propel this game for me. I mean, we'll find out one day. That'll be it for today though. Thank you so much for watching. Share around because man, it takes a long time to make these videos and I would really appreciate you telling anybody about the series because it helps me out a lot. Have you played Metro 2033? Did you like it? Did you not like it? Let me know down in the comments below and I'll see you guys next time. Metro 2033 Redux was a really good post-apocalyptic journey, but it is officially out of the backlog.
So why exactly do you got me here?
I am here to apologize.
For what?
Well, you know, for calling you a green stupid bitch.
Well, do you actually believe I'm a green stupid bitch?
I mean, you know, I am wrong for a part of it. You're actually not only green, you have some yellow patches and stuff.
Wow, so you think I'm a bitch?
It was just a joke.
Alright, apology accepted.
By the way, since I got you here, have you signed up for the contest?
What contest?
You know, the employee contest that anyone can sign up for, and you get to travel the world for 4 months until May if you win.
Wow, that sounds amazing. But, I mean, I can't do that. You know, I'm an alien. I can't travel the world. People will see me.
You wear a mask and no one will suspect a thing.
You think?
Oh, I know. You should try. You know you want to travel the world. Who you kidding?
Fuck yeah, I wanna try.
And if you win, you get 4 months off. Well, that's great.
Wow, yeah, that's true. I'd still wanna be caught up with the games though.
Just bring your console.
True. I would probably bring next month's game, cause, well, we both know it is definitely quite lengthy.
Of course. Well, I'll show you where to sign up.